This session is a session that's very important to us because this session actually is going to tell you what you need to do in order to get the promotions that you really need. It was so important for me to be able to talk to you about the things that we did before we got to this place. Because once we get to this place, many individuals will just take this and forget all of the things that lead up to this. And if you forget those things, what will happen is that you'll be disappointed because even though what I'm about to tell you will get you somewhere, it won't be able to keep you there. It's what I told you up until this point that will be able to keep you at the place that you want to go. You see, moving up the corporate ladder isn't quite as difficult as people would believe that it is. As you know, promotion is a result in life. Promotion's not necessarily a gift. You see, it's a result. Promotion is a gift, or promotion is a result of doing things right. It's not the real gift that people want it to really be. You see, it's doing them and doing the things that you do, and you do it in an excellent fashion. Therefore, in this session, I want to share with you these simple steps that will be able to get you promoted. And that's so important for you to know, because whether or not that you get the promotions that you need to realize this. The things that you're about to learn can create the future for you that you desire, not just in the workplace, but also in every area of life. Number one, here's our key. You need to guard your personal appearance. You need to guard your personal appearance. You'll learn more by looking at someone than you'll ever learn by listening to them. Let me say that again. You'll learn more by looking at someone than you'll ever learn by listening to them. I find it very interesting, and actually it's somewhat comical, because when people go to apply for a job, they dress up, but then when they go to work, they dress down. When they apply for a job, they dress up, but when they're working, they kind of look like a slob. It's that when they begin to have the job, they don't treat it the same way that they wanted to treat it, or they were showing the person who was doing the interviewing how they were going to treat the job. They go to the job with great hope, but once they get the job, they don't try quite as hard anymore. The same thing is true in relationships, is that a person puts their best foot forward when they want a relationship, but in order to maintain it, they want to relax. It's interesting, and I've got some statistics that I want to read to you because I think that you'll find it to be true. Because I know that some of you in your mind right now don't quite understand when I talk about guarding your personal appearance, and how that you'll actually learn more by looking at someone than you'll ever learn by listening to them. I've learned over the years that I don't necessarily listen to what a person tells me, but I watch what a person does. If you watch what a person does, you'll know what they're saying. If all you do is ever listen to someone, they can deceive you and run around for years before you ever catch them. And so here's some statistics. In this statistic, and I find this to be very interesting, a report from Stanford University indicates that your clothes determine 55% of the impression that you make on people. Another report claims that the right look can increase your salary by 22%. That's somewhat interesting. And then 75% of U.S. workers admit that personal appearance influences their attitudes and their professionalism. Right now we find in the corporate world today, things are changing in this way. Over the years, what had been happening was that people were casualizing down how that they went to work. They were beginning to wear the khakis. They were beginning to wear their jeans. They were beginning to wear some clothes that, made people feel somewhat comfortable. And what they found at the very same time was that there was a rise in sexual harassment, that there was actually more promiscuity in the workplace, And there were more lawsuits that happened because of all of that. And this very thing, this attitude of casualizing down the workplace is now changing, and it's turning around because they're now wanting to professionalize the workplace. So remember this, that you'll learn more by looking at someone. All you need to do is watch a person. Look at what a person does. Look at how they act. Look at how they conduct themselves. Look at how they dress. You'll know more about an individual as you watch them conduct life than you'll ever learn about how they want to sell themselves to you. If you want to be promoted in life, the first thing is you need to guard your personal appearance. And then, number 2, is become an expert. Become an expert. Stop attempting to know many things about many subjects and begin to know a tremendous amount of things about a couple subjects. There are things in my life that I know a lot about and certain other areas that I don't know anything about. And when I run into an area that I don't know anything about, I find someone who knows something about that subject. It was interesting because Ford Motor Company was wanting to fire Henry Ford. They said, you know, you don't even know how many parts go into the Model T. He said, wait a minute. And he picked up the telephone and they said, what are you doing? Why don't you just answer the question? He said, you're right. I don't know how many parts go into the Model T, but I know someone who does. You see, become an expert over even one thing. Become an expert. Become the go-to person over one thing. It's what makes you indispensable when you become the expert. You see, our principle is this. You'll never be rewarded for your similarities to another, but only for your difference from another. You'll never be rewarded for your similarity to another, but from your difference from another. Once again, as has been stretched and talked about many times tonight, is that what makes you different? Rewards come in life because of differences, not because of similarities. Who's a person who follows up? Who's a person who calls their client even when they're not looking for business? When people call me on the phone, I'll say to them, okay, what is it that you want to sell? Oh, no, what do you mean? I said, really? I said, the only time that you ever call me is when you're hungry. Because other people get better products than I get from you. But you call me because you realize that I have the ability to be able to purchase what you're trying to peddle because you don't have the best thing because someone else you gave the best thing to. You weren't looking out for me when the best thing came along. So what is it that I can do for you? Remember this, you'll only be rewarded for your difference, not from your similarities. If everybody does the same thing and makes the same kind of calls, you'll never be rewarded for that. You'll only be rewarded for what you make different for the people that are your clients, are the people that you're working for. You'll be rewarded for your differences from another, not for your similarity from another. If any two things in life are the same, one of them is unnecessary. One of them is unnecessary. Are you the unnecessary part, or is someone else going to be the unnecessary part? I make myself different than any other human being that I know. I discovered that in a number of areas of my life, I couldn't compete with people. First off, I don't lie. Now that might have just been a lie, but I don't lie. I don't peddle hope. I tell you whether or not I believe you can do it or whether I don't believe you can. But most often what you have is you have people that are constantly telling you something that you'll never attain. You'll never achieve. So what I discovered was